first round pick. Hey, throw that list away. All right.
Why are we around?
Welcome to the show. It's a Chiefs Blitz night. Breaking down the plays, keeping everything tight. From Mahomes to the defense, we give you the scoop. Real talk, real stats, we the ultimate troop. This ain't no game, it's our passion on display.
The baby himself.
Chiefs Blitz podcast, real fans unite. Every touchdown scored, we ignite the night. From tailgate chatter to post-game debate, we love our Chiefs, yes, never too late.
I would even bring MBS back in the middle of the season.
Are you ready for the best Kansas City Chiefs insight? Welcome to the Four Guys in a Bar, sponsored by ChiefsBlitz.com, presented by UnderdogFantasy.com. Here's your Chiefs Blitz host, Nick Athan, with Lou Montagna, Andre Tillman, and Hense Todd.
Welcome back to the next edition of Four Guys in a Bar, presented by ChiefsBlitz.com, produced by BowTie Sports. I'm your host, Nick Athan, along with Mr. Hense Todd, Mr. Lou Montagna, and Coach Andre Tillman. Apologize for the late start today. I had a national radio show I had to do, and we were kind of waiting to get some of the quotes from the press conferences today that we'll go over here in a few minutes. But before we get into the show, let's bring in our sponsor, Underdog Fantasy.
Baseball is back.
That's right. Baseball is back on Underdog Fantasy. Make sure you cash in today. You can play the pick'em game. It's very similar to what you did with the NFL. We're doing the Chiefs stuff. Now it's all about baseball, and especially the Royals. You can go higher or lower. It's really simple to use. Their app is amazing. You just choose your entry fee. You decide what you want to play, and you just see the winnings coming if you know what you're doing. So take a swing today and make sure that you sign up for Underdog Fantasy, and they're going to give you a meatball right off the gamut, Bobby Wood Jr. special. So start with a W for your first entry and new customers. Make sure you use the code Chiefs Blitz.
That's right. Underdog Fantasy. Use that code Chiefs Blitz to make it really easy here. All you got to do is hit the QR code at the bottom right and then put in the code Chiefs Blitz. Set up your account, deposit $5. You get $50 in bonus money, and you can start playing the game. And I think they're going to invent a new category, and it's going to be for Clayton Clark. How many takedowns or knockouts is she going to have in a single NBA game? I wonder what the over-under is going to be for the next game. Anyway, listen, if you like baseball, you like the NBA, you like the NHL is obviously over. There's some great opportunities to cash in, make some good money, enjoy playing the game. It's a lot of fun. So definitely want to make sure that you sign up. It's really simple to do.
Who knew Sophie Cunningham, Caitlin's personal protector, not just a pretty face.
She's a
Get
baller.
after it, Sophie. I was watching the game. So, and I guess that was like at the very end where she kind of takes the foul. That was building. I mean, right after Caitlin got knocked down, that whole mess, the referees just, I don't know what to say about the refereeing in the WNBA and how they do their reviews and so forth. Bottom line is number 4. So anytime Sophie was in the game and was guarding number 4, she was up in her grill, talking smack, being as physical as possible with her. Lexi Hull got into the act. I mean, those teammates, they know the franchise, and hey, it is basketball. Michael Jordan did a lot of this stuff when he came into the league, primarily because it was like, okay, we've been here for years. Now all the talk is about this guy, gets his own shoe eventually. And it was just like, whatever. But, at the end of the day, she is the needle, and you got to protect the needle.
Man from Power Rangers in the glass.
What's that? What we talking about? We went from Caitlin Clark to Power Rangers, man. We do it all here.
No, I was talking. My son messaged me back and forth, so we cracking jokes on each other on the phone.
All good.
Yeah.
No, well, listen. Caitlin Clark got that.
It's not quite as funny when you only get one side of it.
Hey, check this out. Caitlin Clark got that Michael. She getting that Michael Jordan treatment right now.
Whatever
she should.
I forgot. I was hot mic. I forgot to turn my mic.
At least we know your mic's working. It doesn't have that weird Grim Reaper sound.
You know what, guys? Caitlin Clark reminds me of Patrick Mahomes right now because she's getting beat like Patrick Mahomes getting beat, and that to me that's a sign of respect. that's a sign of respect, man, for the league, because they know how great she is. They know how great she is. So they got to rough her up, man. They trying to test her. You know what I'm saying? Trying to test her character right now. So she's kicking ass right now. Kayla's kicking ass right now, man.
Until she run into Dallas, the Dallas Wings. When they run into Dallas, it's gonna be a problem. You know what I mean? Hey, they got.
Why is that?
JJ, man. JJ.
Arguably again, you know how much I love Paige Beckers. Arguably the worst team in the WNBA right now.
They still don't matter.
They're going to say until they run into the worst team in the WNBA. So they run into the worst team, then we'll see who Caitlin Clark is.
That's who you really are. See who you really are. So with that said, let's get into some of these updates from the Chiefs training camp. Nick, go ahead.
All right. Chiefs held a press conference today. Former Chiefs, I think this was interesting. Former Chiefs right tackle Mitchell Schwartz has been mentoring rookie left tackle Josh Simmons. You couldn't ask for a better mentor than that. I think that's terrific. Not only they have the same numbers, but the fact that he's working with him. He has remained in Kansas City, which is great to see him, kind of retire in Kansas City and maintain his family here in Kansas City. He was the best right tackle in franchise history. And if he can work with Josh Simmons and maybe shore up some of the things that he needs to do and the expectations, because I looked around a couple of depth charts today, and guess who was number one at left tackle? Mr. Simmons.
You got to fill somebody in.
Mr. Simmons was number one.
The depth charts at minicamp, absolutely. Do we know the context in which Mitchell was there? Because, like you said, he's been in Kansas City or whatever. Did he just happen to be there that day and was working with them? Is he like trying to get into coaching? Do we know?
Yeah, I think he's probably trying to get into coaching.
Inspector Gadget.
No, well, the Chiefs are very good at bringing in former players to kind of work.
That's kind of what we do here, uncover the news. What's happening?
Yes. So I think there's a possibility he'd like to be a coach. I think he'd be a great offensive line coach, at least be an assistant. Maybe he can take over one day for Andy Heck when he decides to, to step down or retire. But, Schwartz was the most dominating right tackle the Chiefs have ever had. And I think when he was on the field up until his injury, he had
some crazy,
electric.
Just consecutive snaps.
Yeah.
Well, he was extremely durable, was one of the best right tackles in the NFL for just about his entire career.
Yep.
Pretty cerebral dude. Obviously went to Cal. His brother Jeff does some work for Fox Sports, and you see a lot of his stuff out there. But Mitchell definitely was a great, great player.
Right. So, hey, I love it all the way through.
So get the Mango drones out there, Mango. If you're in the background, let's find out what was the context behind Mitchell being there. Is it like a personal coach, or is he coaching up all the guys?
I don't know. It sounds like it's a one-on-one, kind of like what Tom Bahali's been doing with some of the pass rushers. Travis Kelce spoke to the media today, and he made a little hint that this might not be his swan song. I got 1 year left on this contract, and then we'll try and figure something out for next year. I have been telling people that don't be surprised if he plays in 2026 and plays another year or two. I wouldn't be shocked at all. I think a lot of it has to do with the fact now that his off-season life is situated. He's got his opportunities in TV and in film. He's pursuing all this. He's found a balance, obviously dating Taylor Swift. But as he said today, football's primary one. I've talked to several people, and they're not 100% convinced that he's not going to play past this year. And Kareem, no, he has not washed up yet. I'm sorry, dude. I disagree with you. I love you, brother.
Off the rip.
Agent of chaos,
man. Come
very
on,
on brand.
He's
very on
washed.
brand. But I think it's going to have a lot to do with the way the season goes, right? I mean, if he feels that he can still contribute at the level that he's used to, I think he'll definitely want to continue to play. But if if he can tell, he's slowing way down, he's not really being the player that he's used to being, then I think it might be a whole different conversation. But I think in his mind, I'm sure he wants to play as long as he possibly can till the wheels come off, man.
If that man put up 700 yards this year, it's time to hang it up. If he under
shush.
700, it's
Put
time
a mute on this guy. I'm not listening to your garbage. You're not slandering my boy anymore.
It's time to hang it up, man. Time to hang it up, man.
You're not slandering my boy anymore.
That's what it is.
You need to S-T-F-U. That's what you need to do.
Nah, what it is, man, we need to get 50 Shades of Gray in this bad boy. Now 50 Shades can come in here and take over.
Kelsey's not watching.
It's about 50 Shades now.
At this point of his career, I don't think it's going to be based on numbers or anything like that. Really,
it's going to be physical.
If now again, regular season numbers, I think are probably going to be a little bit more muted because of 50 Shades and some of the other guys. But I think once the playoffs come, he's going to be playoff Trav. And if he does that, then I don't care how many yards he has in the regular season. He's going to feel comfortable saying, I can do it when they need me. So let's go.
Yeah, there you go. Travis Cousins is going to become very serviceable. He's going to be a Hall of Fame serviceable player. Very serviceable.
Winning another championship is going to determine whether the season was a success for me or not. You mentioned today they got their AFC title ring today, and Travis could care less. He's just counting the Super Bowl ones. That's all that matters to him. And kind
of like Larry Fitzgerald. Kind of like Larry Fitzgerald. Kind of like Larry Fitzgerald. At the end of his career, he started being one of the great serviceable guys in Arizona. He did what he needed to do to move the chains. That's Travis Kelce. There's nothing wrong with it. There's nothing wrong with it, Nick. I'm not saying the man
that's not what you're
garbage. Man, I'm just saying. I mean, step it up, man. Step it up this year, man. Support your guy, Mahomes. Just step it up. That's all. Hell,
right,
block better.
Tight end number 1 gives us the insight. I didn't feel like the Super Bowl was my last game. I got a lot more to prove. I have so much fun coming into the building. He was pretty great today. I mean, he looked in good shape. Now he did poo-poo the 20 to 25 pounds he lost.
That was just utter nonsense.
Yeah, that was just, I didn't say that. Be careful what you read on the internet. But, obviously he had a bad taste in his mouth and rightly so. And he admitted, he didn't have a good game. He made mistakes. He wasn't there for his teammates. He just had a bad day at the office. And unfortunately, it was in the biggest game of the year. So he's saying the right things. He looks like he's in the right amount of shape. And I think his offseason for the first time, since let's just be honest, since he started dating Taylor Swift, she's not touring anymore. Well, no Giants overseas.
The air miles went down considerably.
Significantly. Though he was in Cannes he was in France on Monday and was at practice Tuesday.
That's his other job. I mean, he makes almost as much of that anymore than he does playing.
Oh
football.
Yeah, they make a fortune on that.
But they were there for the Amazon company that produces their podcast now. So it's all good.
I mean, Travis Kelce he just gotta stay focused for me. I hear all that. Just stay focused and do what you need to do. Just do what you need to do.
That's
all it is.
All right.
Next.
All right, Patrick Mahomes. The rookies are a very mature group. They're learning very quickly. They have a good understanding of football. Now it's teaching them to work to the standard that Coach Reid has. And I think Patrick made a great comment today when he was talking about about the rookies. And he goes, I don't know if it's because of NIL, they stay in college a little longer, they move to better programs, but they just all of them seem to be very mature. And, that's credit to the scouting department. That's a scouting to the coaches, to Brett Veach and Andy Reid for ultimately deciding which players to add to the roster. This is as Travis said, with the young guys, you see the logo and the expectations are instant of what is expected of you to play in a Kansas City Chiefs uniform. And I thought Patrick's comments were really dead on smart, and made me think about, again, this goes to the character of the players that the Chiefs have drafted over the last 3 to 4 years. But this group in particular, you had a lot of guys who switched schools. You had a lot of guys who had a full grasp and understanding of their position, their roles on the team. Guys that elevated their game. I'm excited about this draft class. I think it's going to be as good, or I think it'll be better.
But which player, Nick?
What do you mean, which player?
Give me one player that you're definitely excited about, that you can't wait to get on that field. Give me one player out the draft class.
It's Brashard Smith. There's no question about it. No question.
I
Josh Simmons to me, that's a given. But Smith, right. I think what Smith is going to do in this offense is going to shake the balance of power when he's comfortable, when he understands this offense. He has the ability to take over games. He has the ability to be that Jamal Charles guy, and that just makes Hollywood Brown. and Rashee Rice and Xavier Worthy and all these other guys and Kelsey and the other tight ends and the running backs. This offense is going to be electric. I think it's going to be the number one offense.
Ken says Royal. I like Royal too, but my guy's Williams, man. I like
Royals is going to be good.
Yeah, I like Williams.
So, I like Williams too. I want to see what Williams do. I want to see what he brings because we need that. We need a guy that's actually a ball hawk in secondary, and if he can bring that,
he's tough. He's tough too.
Bring that here, and it'll be great. So here goes the next quote. Go ahead.
All right, he's talking about Josh Simmons. Josh is doing great. He's getting healthier and healthier, doing a great job of learning. He's getting the ultimate test going against Spags. I'm excited to see for him coming into training camp. And there was a report, I think, here that per Harold Kuntz, Josh Simmons is expected to be the starting left tackle at the beginning of camp. We'll see. But I listen, I think everybody says, I mean, I heard Ian Rappaport was talking about this yesterday as well, how excited the Chiefs are, about Simmons. The expectations for this season, and there is no hurry. There's no push. He doesn't have to be the starter. They signed a free agent left tackle. They've got room. They've got time. If he earns the spot, great. It's just going to make the Chiefs offensive line that much better and have much more depth. And I think that with Simmons, listen, Patrick Mahomes doesn't gush a lot about players the way he has talked about Simmons in the last 2 or 3 times we've had a chance to talk to him in the media. He really is excited to see what he can do. And I think he believes, and I think the Chiefs believe, that he's definitely he's got a good chance to be ready by the start of the season.
I think he is ready.
That is the one position that is kind of was like holding them back. And that's, Captain Obvious here. But it's almost now, I mean, they're setting it up, and they're gushing so much that it's hell. If he doesn't start, it's going to be a disappointment, like fans and maybe people, from the outside.
That's the setup.
I think to Nick's point is that I think they will be cautiously optimistic. They're going to kind of see how he goes those first few days of training camp, because that's where it really is going to start to tell, because Patrick talked about it. And he talks about it every year. That long drive drill they do separates people, right? Mm-hmm. If you can hang to all 15 or 18 plays, whatever the hell it is, and you're still effective when you're tired, that I think then you're going to start to see some things. It'll be interesting because, again, you get a lot of pushback from these fans. Oh my God, they paid this guy all this money and he's not going to start at left tackle. What are we doing? Mm-hmm. Whatever. Yeah. Hey,
who's that guy?
It's like $15 million a year for Jalen Moore to have a qualified backup that can play anywhere on the offensive line. To pay that amount of money, that's not a ton of money. I mean, relatively speaking, in the NFL, to the salary cap, that's that's decent money. But where else would you have spent it better?
Right.
I mean, that is a key position for them. So he's either going to start or he's going to be, highly needed.
Let's call it what it is. They're gonna be pissed off. The kingdom is going to be pissed off if he don't start. If he don't start, they're gonna be pissed off.
It's a great investment,
man. They're gonna be high.
It's just like having multiple pass rushers, right?
Yeah.
You want to have multiple great left tackles, right tackle, multiple great offensive linemen.
Did he use the word great?
Amazing.
Well, a little different because you typically don't interchange your linemen, based on a rotation. But typically those guys, again, he is going to have an opportunity. And again, we talked about it earlier. The best 5. If all of a sudden he's out playing Juwan Taylor, in camp, that is going to be some high drama. If all of a sudden that first game in Sao Paulo and you see Jalen Moore lined up at right tackle and Simmons at left and Kingsley at that guard spot.
Oh, I'm going to love it. I'm going to love it. That's my starting point.
We're going to have some good shows.
We're going to have some great shows.
And speaking of a good shows, and what I like, love on the show is Chiefs Who.
That's right, man. You know what?
Down.
How many minutes in? We're almost 20 minutes in. What are we doing? Let's go. The greatest game on YouTube. Yes, we're back with classic Chief Who. staying with the I guess the tenor or the feel of the last couple of weeks, let's go with a classic Chief for this one.
Oh,
so if you haven't been around, I'm going to read a series of concocted clues that is going to lead you to the answer of which Chief this is. In other words, the classic who. So here we go. As always, we start off with Nick's favorite clue. This gentleman, this Chief, was a 3-star recruit coming out of high school. Not really regarded that highly, even at his position, nationally. So again, kind of an overachiever, maybe. We'll see. All right. So in his junior year, he was 3rd-team All-American. His senior year, he was 1st-team All-American at his position. Clue number 3. He spent 6 years in Chiefs Kingdom with a Chiefs helmet on, right? Clue number 4. He once picked off Brett Favre twice in a game, one going for a pick 6.
Oh, I know.
And finally, he shares his name with the front man of a good, great rock band. It's a rock band, so there you have it. Nick knows who it is. Evidently, Kareem knows who it is. And there you have it, folks. Real quick.
He beat me to it.
Had to give some layup type clues here. I think the Brett Favre one probably put it over the top.
The Brett Favre one did it because I was like, okay.
His rookie year was probably
player.
about his 4th or 5th game of the season, 6th game of the season when Brett was playing for the Jets. The second one, a 91-yard pick 6. So yes, this week's Chief Who, way to go, Kareem, is none other than Brandon Flowers.
That's right. Brandon was there the night I proposed to Emily, so I always have a warm spot for Brandon every time I run into him.
And of course, Brandon Flowers, the lead man of the Killers.
That's right.
Yeah, there you go.
Brandon Flowers, man. That's my guy before Marcus Peters. He's better than Marcus Peters, I would say.
All right, gang. So I appreciate everybody playing along. Your classic Chief Who, once again, Brandon Flowers. As always, this segment brought to you by our friends at Underdog Fantasy Sports. That's right, folks. Scan the QR code. Use the promo code Chiefs Blitz. Play 5. Get 50 in bonus after you play that 5. And as an additional bonus, just for being a fan of this show and using that promo code, you will receive from Nick's personal collection a classic Chief playing card.
Signed.
Worth about 10,000. Worth about 10 bands.
Yeah, it could be football. It might be baseball. You never know. I got some basketball stuff too. I got a lot of KU signed cards as well. So
that card can pay your mortgage.
That one that could pay a few bills.
So with that said, let's get back. Let's get into our sponsor one more time. Baseball is back.
That's right. Baseball is back on Underdog Fantasy. Make sure you cash in today. You can play the pick'em game. It's very similar to what you did with the NFL where you're doing the Chiefs stuff. Now it's all about baseball and especially the Royals. You can go higher or lower. It's really simple to use. Their app is amazing. You just choose your entry fee. You decide what you want to play, and you just see the winnings coming if you know what you're doing. So take a swing today and make sure that you sign up for Underdog Fantasy, and they're going to give you a meatball right off the gamut, Bobby Wood Jr. special. So start with a W for your first entry and new customers. Make sure you use the code Chiefs Blitz.
That's right. We make it easy around there. Just hit the QR code. Put in the promo code Chiefs Blitz. Deposit 5. Get 50 in bonus dollars. And you can start playing the game. WNBA is hot right now. Major League Baseball. Got the NHL finals are over. The NBA finals, have one game left, maybe 2, depending on the outcome of tonight or tomorrow's game. Tomorrow night, yeah. So they tomorrow and Sunday, I think.
Tyrese Halliburton is questionable. Game time decision. Either way, he's a little beat up. So we'll see.
Getting a second opinion.
Is he really effective right now? I mean, he kind of hot and cold. He's hot and cold right now. I got to go with OKC, man, because they consistently getting it done, man, on both sides of the floor, man.
I totally agree.
That's what you picking high or low for OKC to win it all?
I'm picking high.
Oh yeah, I'm definitely taking OKC. I think Indiana's.
I think the whole panel saying OKC. Am I correct? The whole panel?
Yep.
OKC.
Yeah, I'm saying OKC. So with that said, let's get into our show topic of the day. Trey Smith returns to the kingdom. Go ahead and read it, Lou.
Okay, now I have to give a disclaimer here because this isn't actually Trey Smith speaking. This is Trey in Hense's voice. So I don't want to get Trey in trouble here or get us in trouble by all means. So
That's right.
I'm Trey Smith. On the field, they call me the enforcer. I don't just protect my quarterback, I enforce the law. You come at him, you come at me. Again, brought to you by Hense Todd.
Go ahead and read the question of the day.
All right,
I like
so do you think Trey's return makes the Chiefs the favorites to win the Super Bowl this year? Let's start with Nick.
Well, I think they're already the favorites to win the Super Bowl this year. I know a lot of people picking the Ravens and the Bills and maybe the Lions in the NFC, maybe the 49ers make a comeback. But listen, if all the things we talked about before the questions, if they have their left tackle solved and a left guard, you add Smith, you've got 5 Bohemian guys on the offensive line. Smith is imperative long term. He has to be a Chief. He has to be a Chief long term. They have until July 15th to work out a contract. I would assume that he didn't show up in Kansas City for the mandatory minicamp. The fines aren't all that great. He did sign his tag of 23.8 or 23.3 million.
I think he was there yesterday.
He was there yesterday. I don't know about today, but he definitely was there yesterday. And I think that's a good sign. I think he believes they're going to get a deal done. But he's in my view the best right guard in the NFL. He's going to get paid to be the best right guard in the NFL. Creed Humphrey's already signed long term. You got your left tackle situation covered for at least the next 2 to 4 years or 5 years, depending on if the team picks up the franchise option, which obviously they will on Simmons as long as he plays great. So their offensive line is going to be settled. Now, right tackle, they're going to go a new direction after this year. But Trey Smith he's a game changer. Another guy who didn't play well in the Super Bowl. He's come back with a fire. He loves Kansas City. He calls it his home. I think he's going to live here after he retires. So yeah, to me, he healthy in the fold, happy with a fat new contract. Big advantage for Kansas City for the chances to win another Super Bowl.
Yeah, I'll say it's a big chance because he is the enforcer. I seen this kid maul people down the field coming from the 6th round for Tennessee. Coming from where he came from, and the Chiefs got a steal in them. Hey, this kid, I feel like he can, when he come back, this contract year, just somebody in his caliber to be drafted in the 6th round is still shocking to me. The contract that he's about to receive had all them teams that passed up on it. That let you intelligently know that Brett Veach is that guy that actually gets things done around here in the kingdom. That's why the Chiefs still continue to be in this race for AFC championship and championships. Unheard of like other teams around the NFL. But yeah, him returning to the Chiefs, man. If he could come back and come back at take that L to the heart where they faced that with them all-star monsters. From Looney Tunes. What was that show back there?
Monstars, Space Jam, sir. Shout out to Michael Jordan, man.
Shout out to Michael Jordan. They ran up against the All-Stars and Space Jams.
That's a good
they
question.
did. The Monstars, the boy got beat. Oh, man.
Is he Will Shields?
That's a question I have here, so we ain't gonna answer that.
Okay, we'll ask that.
Kareem's mentally tuned into the show.
God, he is, man. What's the show topic going to be Friday?
Thinking Brandon Flowers. He's asking the right
questions. He woke up with defense on his mind, right? From my thing is this: hell yeah, he's gonna be needed because if Trey Smith doesn't play, y'all don't pay that man. It's gonna be another bad year for the Kansas City Chiefs and offensive line. That man's a stud. Like Hense said, man, he's a mauler. We know about the game in Denver. You know what he get in Denver. He poses his will. But definitely, you got to sign Trey Smith. You got to sign him. If not, it's going to be another downgrade because he's gone. And then the tackle situation is up in shambles. So Hell yeah, you gotta sign him. Hell yeah.
Okay,
Hell
I don't
yeah.
know. I don't see where it asks about that, but that's cool.
Hey, you gotta add a
great.
little more sugar to the little more sugar to the
Yeah,
cake, man.
absolutely,
Yeah, that's
absolutely.
Right. That's right.
Well, let's put it this way: having him on the team certainly keeps them in the mix. I don't know that one spot, all of a sudden makes them favorites to win the Super Bowl. I think they certainly are the favorites in the AFC. Without him, they probably would have been downgraded a bit, but with him, they have that opportunity, and the rest of the offensive line and so forth. But no, he's gonna get paid, to his worth.
Yep.
The Chiefs made him a priority. I think in their minds, he was the best free agent available. He just happened to be on their team. So we're going to pay him top dollar, and it's going to get done. I would imagine there's no reason for them to, string him along or say, well, you're going to have to prove it on the franchise tag. I don't think that's the way they're doing this. So, but in terms of the 6th round thing, again, now we well documented that was a medical thing. Most teams, took them off their respective boards just because they were afraid that, he was, going to have some issues, blood clotting, that whole thing. And, maybe lightning will strike twice, where a lot of teams were concerned with Josh Simmons, didn't want to take a chance in the 1st round. Now, obviously he didn't go to the 6th round, but at the end of the 1st, this could turn out to be one of the steals of the draft. So yeah, as far as Trey, he keeps us in the mix to be favorites, and God help him, and God willing, they sign that contract quickly.
That's right.
I agree.
Let's get to the next question.
Kareem, could Trey become the next Will Shields for the Chiefs? Nick?
Yeah, I think absolutely. I think Will was Will was the left guard, if I'm not mistaken, correct?
Right guard.
He was right guard. So sorry, my bad. That's right. Waters played left guard.
No stink on him.
I listen, he was part of the greatest offensive line in Chiefs history. Now, will this one become that? Remains to be seen. I don't think we'll know until they settle the right tackle situation, but I think it has the potential. But I don't see any reason why he can't have a Hall of Fame career. I mean, you talked about being an Iron Man for Mitchell. No one was more of an Iron Man than Will Shields. I don't know the number of games that he played consecutively, but it was pretty long career. Will was a leader. He was a mauler out there. He understood exactly, what needed to be done, play in and play out. And you never had to worry, when Trent Green was was the quarterback, he never had to worry about a guy coming and blowing up the middle because Will Shields and Casey Wigman, who was undersized to a center, just did the job. And I think Simmons could be, or Trey Smith could be the second coming of Will Shields. Absolutely. He may already have.
That's tough.
I think he's playing better at this age than it took Will a couple of years, even though he started right away, former 3rd round pick from Nebraska. But I think they're on the same trajectory.
Yeah, I think he's the same guy, different number.
Yeah.
When I watched the tape, same guy, different number.
You was gonna butter his biscuit.
168, 165, and the other one still looked the same kid. Hey, man, the same skin tone. But hey, I'll say this: I think Will Shields was, he's up there. Playing next to John Tate. He was out there balling it out. He's out there, playing great. But that's a hard comparison to get him there.
It is. Yeah.
I say he got the rings, and the accolades, the Pro Bowls. I feel like the kid, if you keep playing at a high level, he can be right up on the ring order up there with Will Shields as well. Because Will Shields was a mauler. I mean, the best I just seen. He had that offensive line had Ray Lewis crying on the sideline.
Shout out to Vermeil.
They had him crying on the sideline. I feel like that, and that's what the attitude. That's why I said earlier, the enforcer. That's what Trey Smith brings on this offensive line. He brings that attitude. And also, I'm not the only one that said he was the enforcer of the team. Travis Kelce quoted that as well back then, like when the kid, I think his 2nd year, or his first year playing, that he's the enforcer out there. You got every team got to have that enforcer that sets the tone for the team, and I think that's what Trey Smith brings, and that's what that's why I kind of see with him and Will Shields as well. So I feel like, can he become the next Will Shields? Definitely. As switch the number to the same number.
Man, I knew your ass was gonna say something like that. I mean, you're gonna keep buttering the biscuit. I get it. No, honestly, Will Shields is a legend, ladies and gentlemen. He is a legend. One of the best guys from my favorite coach, Dick Vermeil era. He's one of the best to do it, man. Credit to Dick again. But from his perspective, Trey Smith is a stud, man. He is a hell of a player. He's great at this time. What they like this time, this system, and what they're doing right now. Yes, he fit this system completely. But to compare him to Shields, hell no. Nah, he ain't Shields, but he is good though. He ain't Shields, but he is good. He very serviceable when it comes to Shields, and he's all right. He's all right now, but he ain't Shields, man.
Imagine how good Coach would be if he just read and answered the question.
I got to put a little flavor on it now.
It just amazes me. I think, to Nick's point, they're definitely on the same path as is it right now, and I think every offensive lineman at their core wants the first description to be of themselves is just nasty. And I think both these guys had that about them. I mean, you're coming, playing offensive line at Nebraska just historically has been those were just a bunch of nasty dudes, no matter, what they were there, red, every one of them got redshirted. Every one of them put on about 100 pounds while they were there under Tom Osborne, and they all were like ballers and just would be maulers. And that was Will Shields. Now, can Trey Smith, I think the only thing right now that is between he and Shields is time, right? He needs that time to continue to play. But at this frame where they've both played like 3 years, he certainly has the skills, the ability, and the nastiness to get to that level. So I don't think there's any question about it that he can certainly become that type of player.
Because back then they had more, 2-a-days and more padded practice.
Oh, yeah, it was brutal. I mean, Vermeil had 3.5-hour practices. And then he would do 2 days in pads. He was relentless. These guys were exhausted. Marty was the same way, and obviously
they did the Disney special on Vince Papale. What was that called?
It was
Mark Wahlberg played him. It's like a one-word thing. Anyway, but basically, it's like Dick Vermeil, college coach at UCLA, comes to Philadelphia. Invincible. There you go. Because it was Vince Papale. There
you see what Dick Vermeil did? They sweating. They going through hell. That's why they so great, man. That's why
he was so worried about attention to detail and having the toughest team and so forth. They just the work was just relentless. Yeah, and I think eventually that's what kind of got him burnt out of coaching. It did. He was just running himself ragged. So, but anyway, it's all
right. It's all right, Lou. Take your time.
I think he's got a chance. He certainly does, because so far I think at the same level is as good.
Right? Okay, let's get to the next question.
All right. So what does Trey rank in terms of toughness among other right guards in the NFL?
10 out of 10.
I think he's up there. For sure. It's a hard position. I mean, you've got to understand, what the center is doing. You got to understand what the tackle's doing next to you. But as far as toughness goes, listen, I go by one word. Are you a mauler? That's what defines your toughness. We've talked about Willie Roaf all the time, and he was just an absolute mauler. He would beat the defensive end, and he'd go hit a linebacker or a cornerback, and he would just pancake and flatten them. And Smith has the same abilities to do that kind of stuff. He's a good blocker, when he gets past that offensive line, especially when they do sweeps and pulls, screen passes and things like that. He's out there in front, and he's not satisfied with hitting one guy. He wants to hit multiple guys. So I think from a toughness perspective, listen, if you overcome blood clots, let's just be honest here. If you can overcome that medical condition, you have to be tough as nails, because any given snap, anything could happen. And he was medically cleared. And I think a lot of NFL teams would redraft him in the first or second round had they known the kind of player he was going to turn out to be.
If they redid that draft, he'd be a top 10 pick.
Yeah,
and only because he's a guard.
Yeah,
not a
I think he's up there with the toughest of them all.
3 pick if he was a tackle.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I'd agree. I think he's probably the toughest one out there I've seen so far. Not looking at the Eagles' offensive line. Even they got some tough guys there. Man? No, I'm just saying because they got one of the best offensive lines out there as well. They pretty good as well in Detroit. But Trey Smith had the more tougher job because Patrick Mahomes runs out the pocket. He does all this crazy throws, out and move out of position, everything. You got to be tough and the toughest nails to stand in there and know where to move or know where to go, and also still keep the leverage of blocking as well. So I just say this kid is tough as nails. One of the toughest right guards I didn't see. Man, pay the man. Pay the man right now today on 6/18/2025, 2:43 p.m. today, Kansas City time. Mark it down. Trey Smith, get your check. It's a man well deserved because I seen him manhandling some people out there on the defensive line. Yeah, you can look at me like that. I seen him. I seen it happen. The Denver game. Also, who was that against the Buccaneers this past season? The kid is a mauler, man. The kid's a mauler. He just had a bad game. Only bad game I've seen them had. That was real bad was in the Super Bowl.
Get those mind stars. That's what it was.
That's what it was. But that's the only bad game he had. He can't help it. He's going up with guys that's on probably steroids 10 times.
Hey, easy now.
Easy now. Hey, Lou, the truth is coming out, Lou. The truth is coming out, man.
All he juiced up and all that. That's what it is. But again, I think Trey Smith is one of the toughest guys, man. If you look at it, man, he don't stand for no beat. He'll be the type of guy I want for a bodyguard. If I had to choose him or Will Shields, I'd probably choose Trey Smith to be the bodyguard to get it done.
Yeah, maybe Taylor Swift will hire him.
Hey, real quick, Kareem said Larry Allen was a different beast though, but that's a whole different conversation. Hell yeah, Trey Smith to tough his nails, man. He's rather tough. I look at it as attitude. This line is about attitude. Offensive line is about having attitude and grit. That's Trey Smith, man. Trey Smith got all of that. The man will go to war. Even though he lost against those Monstars and whatnot, he went to war with them, though. He went to war. His jersey was dirty. He was tough. He was really in there. He was really trying to get in there. But I definitely like Trey Smith. I think he is one of the toughest guys at that position. He is. Like, hands down. He had the whole attitude, the whole look. He got it. Like, hands down, he is one of the toughest guys in the league, man.
Yeah, if he's considered one of the top guards in the NFL, that's just part of being one of the top guards in the NFL is being tough as nails.
Nasty.
And, like I said before, that adjective, any offensive lineman, that's the first thing they want to hear
guys don't take
when
baths,
somebody
man.
watches them on film is the guy is just nasty. Right. So he's going to hit you, going to play through the whistle, going to do whatever the hell it takes to get his guy either on the ground, out the way, whatever the hell it takes. So,
exactly.
It is a tough one to measure because they're all tough, right? They got
can be sensitive playing that position. Tell you that.
But no, since he is regarded as one of the top guards, as far as toughness, he's right up there. Got to be one, 1, 2, or 3.
Go ahead and get some of the questions, Nick.
Demetria says, I wish the Chiefs played more into Trey Smith's strength, more in just run the ball a little bit more. Yeah, I hope they do run the ball.
Yeah.
Crystal Lee, and we love the connection they have with Creed, no question about it. Let's see, we got Kareem. Was it Shields or Waters who had those commercials at Boston Market? I believe it was Will Shields. And so to answer that, Crystal Lee, he could be
still exist.
No, I don't think so. Crystal Lee, he could be Brian Waters to me. Brian was great.
Got some good turkey though. Good history.
Trey Smith is a tone setter on the offensive line. Love watching him lift guys. Let's see. I think that's it. Not a whole lot of question. Okay, here's one. Question of the day: should the Chiefs be concerned that Jawan Taylor is continuing to have issues with his knee? That's why they have depth on the offensive line now.
Fundamentals off. That's a bow tie guy there.
We don't know. We don't know when he's going to be back. He should be ready to go for training camp.
First week of camp. We'll see if
he lines up at right tackle. Then we'll know. If he's not, then his his position is in jeopardy for sure.
Yeah.
So let's get into the next question.
Let's do it.
All right. So should the Chiefs offer Smith a contract extension now or wait and see how he performs this off season?
Nick shaking his head.
Show him the money now. They have until July 15th. That's when the negotiating window closes to get a long-term deal. It is my understanding that they're not far apart in getting a deal done. I'm hopeful that they get it done, but there's no question. You don't want to wait because, you're going to franchise tag him again. And the Chiefs, with a restructured contract for Patrick Mahomes and Chris Jones next year, they're going to have more cap space. And it's going to be the most cap space the Chiefs have had, in a really long time, probably since the first year that Andy came and John Dorsey came, as far as cap space goes. They're going to have an extensive amount of money available to be a real big player in free agency. But get Smith done now. Don't wait. Again, I don't think he shows up to minicamp if he didn't feel like he was going to get a deal done. And remember, his agent is also the same one for Trent McDuffie. So I think the plan is get Smith done, get McDuffie done, get Karlaftis done before the end of the year. Set your cap for next year. Restructure your contracts with Patrick Mahomes and with Chris Jones, and maybe have a little bit of something for Travis Kelce if he wants to come back another year. But you don't wait on this thing. And I think the only reason they've waited is they really wanted to see, what other free agents might be available. The Chiefs have a little bit of cap space, but obviously, doing an extension would create quite a bit of space in case they want to sign a veteran or two before training camp.
Yeah, I just say sign that man now, go to the beaver den and pull the sticks and watch it crumble. That's what's going to happen if you don't pay the man. It's going to, the offensive line going to crumble. The whole dynasty is going to start a domino effect. It's going to start crumbling all the way around because the offensive line, you've seen the last time we've seen it. Last time we seen the offensive line play was in the Super Bowl. That's the last vision that everybody have in their head. Mm-hmm. So if you don't pay this man, the kids say, you know what? I'm going to hold myself back and I'm not going to take the $25 million. I know I can get it else. He got the $25 million, but I'm going to sit out and wait till I will get my contract. We don't want that going into the kingdom, man. We already got you got Mr. over here with the knee issue with Jawan Taylor. You don't know what you're going to get from him. You got Simmons over here. He's new. His leg is getting rehab, so you actually don't know what you're going to get from him. We only can think that we're going to get from him what we heard or what he was last seen doing. And right. Kingsley, we don't know what you're going to get from Kingsley. He started to reposition at guard. So pay the man and say, hey, we're going to build this beaver den. We're going to let it stick forever. No matter what. Pay the man.
I think play at a Super Bowl level for 5 years.
I get an education just about every show on some of these references or like whatever what are those similes, whatever analogies, whatever you want to call them. But I learn every show.
Well, you know what's crazy? I think it's more to me. I think it's the attitude of the players, man. If you don't sign them. I think it's the attitude of the players, man. If they don't get the job done, that tells the organization, man, like it will leave a bad taste in the Chiefs organization. They don't get the job done. They don't sign him right now because he is worth so much more money. He is worth it now. They don't sign him. The man already got Super Bowl rings, so he really don't. Honestly, I feel like he really don't care. Already got rings. Why should I even worry about it? You know what I'm saying? But they sign him and make that move. It will look good for the Chiefs organization.
Yeah,
it would look good for him. So yeah, definitely sign him.
Well, I think they signed they put the tag on him knowing that they were going to, extend him. I mean, obviously that dollar for dollar, if you're paying him the $25 million from the tag, that it goes directly against the cap. There's no way of messing with that or bonus this or whatever. No, that's $25 million straight. So if you sign him to an extension long-term deal, you can spread it out. You can play and massage the cap if you would. I don't think he signs that thing if they felt this was going to be contentious, and his agent. So by him signing it as quickly as he did, that tells me that he had a lot of confidence in them going ahead and getting something done. And as always, deadlines make deals. Probably get push up against July 15th, pretty close to it, and they'll get the deal done. But I think both sides want it to happen, and usually, when that's the case, a deal does get done.
Yeah, we got some breaking news. Hence, when you can put it up there, we'll let everybody know what that is.
I got it, Nick.
All right,
go ahead, sir. Go ahead.
Breaking news: the NFL has made the call. The Chiefs will have both their veterans and rookies arrive at St. Joe on July 21st. They will not hold a 3-day camp for rookies or quarterbacks this year, or returning injured players. Something different. And looking at the schedule that came out, it looks like this is a new trend. Maybe it was something that was negotiated in the CBA. But the Chiefs do start the season early with a game against the Los Angeles/San Diego Chargers in Sao Paulo on the Friday after the season opener with the Eagles. So that's one of the reasons why. But July 21st, everybody shows up. So which means Andy's going to have to create a little bit different schedule. Obviously, don't expect guys to wear pads for at least a week, would be my guess. And the fact that they don't have that 3-day buffer with the quarterbacks and the rookies and the injured guys means that, this could be a new trend for the way training camps are done. But for Kansas City, St. Joe, Missouri, July 21st, start getting ready to watch. You can watch all the players, and we'll be up there. Some of us will be up there.
Get your backpack ready, Hensley.
Yeah, I'll make sure, man. Hey, Kareem said, "Son, I can't see what it say. What did it say, Drake?"
Here we go. It says means the rookies are ready to go without a start. I need you to tell Clamps to do a straight jacket celebration instead of the seatbelt this year.
Talking about who Clamps you talking about? You talking about cuffs?
It's T cuffs.
It's T cuffs. Yes.
I don't know where Clamps with a K.
I don't know what Clamps came in either.
What are we doing? Come on, man. Come on.
Speaking of celebrations, who had the all-time Chiefs celebration? Scoring celebration.
There's only one, man. It's only one. Elmo Wright. That's right. Elmo Wright was the first wide receiver in the AFL and in the NFL history to do a celebration dance. And
obviously by today's standards, it's probably
wild.
Pretty tame.
Yeah.
But he was like the first one to really have a touchdown dance.
Yeah.
I'm going to say Andre Rison. Andre Rison with Spider-Man was good too.
Andres was pretty good. I liked Andres.
That Spider-Man with Andre Rison was good too. I like that.
But what about who was it? Jared Allen, the sack one where he would like hog tied or
that was pretty good.
Like he's tying a steer.
Yeah.
I'd say Priest
Jared Thomas's was pretty good too. Just putting the hands over the head, and that was
gyrating.
That was Priest Holmes was classic.
Subtle.
He was arm stretched out. You know what I'm saying? You knew it was money.
Pose.
Yeah, man. The Heisman pose is always the classic for me.
Yeah, I mean,
I love the Heisman.
He did have a better career in the NFL than the other running back in Texas at the time.
Mm-hmm. Johnny Moore did the worm. Yeah, he was his body up doing that.
If you Smith for the running back for the Chiefs, what would be your first celebration? Would you honor the GOATs ahead of you? Like Priest Holmes or
Smith? Oh man, I
don't
know, man. Just give the ball back to the ref and go back to the huddle. He's going to have a massive.
Go back to that SMU.
I don't remember what he did at SMU. I don't remember what he did at SMU after he scored a touchdown. I mean, he scored like 19 of them last year. So I'd have to look. Somebody in the chat will have to tell us. But yeah, Johnny Morton did the worm. I thought that was pretty great too.
No, he tore his ribs up doing that. That's must got good abs. I know you got some good abs doing that shit.
I don't know. Maybe he just needs to salute all the other running backs that were taken ahead of him.
I know. We talked a lot about Brian Waters and everybody else, in their former line, but nobody gives Tony Richardson no love. Why is that?
Because the fullbacks ain't really been talked about, man. But,
Tony Richardson was out there blocking, doing damage, running down the field, scoring touch, and even he had to fill in one day and still got, for running back. He
had 270 yards against the Broncos one game for filling in.
What's up, Gary? What's up, man?
He was.
I don't know. Behind that offensive line, hence you could have run for at least.
Yeah, I mean,
hell yeah. Blaylock did that and left and looked horrible with the Jets. He left
He didn't play
Illinois.
well when he left Kansas City.
Nah, man.
But T. Rich was great, man. He was not only was he one of the nicest players ever to don a Chiefs uniform, and I interacted with him multiple times. He was such a class guy, and when he got his chance, he ran the ball. He kind of came in after Todd McNair, kind of filled that role.
Love Todd.
What's that? Todd was
I
great.
love Todd McNair.
That's just he was fun. But he was a fullback, and they used him at that, and he said, "Hey, I can run the ball and I can catch the ball." He had some long touchdown runs, some power runs, made some really big plays as a Chief. I think he went to the Jets too, right?
He did, yeah.
Yeah, and he didn't have the career that he had in Kansas City, but he is to me the best fullback they've had in franchise history. But he was a great running back when he got his opportunities.
Yeah, I know Dick Vermeil offense just in general was amazing. From Richardson, from Will Shields, Dunn. Well, that's why Dick Vermeil is the greatest, because of the practice. You put these people through hell, and you see the production. See all that friendly, happy. Dick Vermeil meant business, ladies and gentlemen. He meant business, man.
Unfortunately, the collective bargaining agreement has changed so much, and the owners are giving the players way too much when it comes to practice and preparation. So
yeah, that's what's hurting it.
It's only going to get worse with an 18-game schedule.
The bottom line is show up for the games, be entertaining, keep getting more money from the TV. Well, not just linear TV now, but all the streamers. They can sell individual games. At the end of the day, most of them don't care. Yeah, there's so many players, right? I mean, it's an endless supply. It seems like there's always going to be more guys, and
I definitely agree with that.
It's hard once you realize that as a kid, and you start realizing that the business of football, it kind of loses a little bit, because everybody thinks it's all everybody in there is all about winning, and it's a brotherhood. Yeah, it is for the most part, but not every team is run exactly the same way, and some franchises, they're like, yeah, hey, if we win, great. But bottom line is we get $450 million check every year, and we can do whatever we want with that money. So
I know we didn't get to talk about the Casey Wolf. Today.
Yeah, we didn't get to do that today.
Yeah. So do you think somebody will take over for him, or I think there was like some renderings of a KC like chicken hawk or something I saw online. You think they'll change the mascot?
I don't think so. It's pretty embedded in the Chiefs culture. I just think they'll find a new person, and I think his wife passed away, and
give us the horse, give us the Chief.
Yeah, bring Warpaint back. I mean, I'm all in for that.
We don't want to bring back the live band. Used to be sit by the field goal post.
Yeah, can't give up those seats, man. It's too much money.
Yeah. So last show, I kind of brought up the fact where the Jets have 2 first-round picks going in their 4th year, and they've started negotiations with Garrett Wilson and Sauce Gardner. And the Chiefs are kind of in a similar situation. Now, their guys weren't picked as high. Those 2 went in the top 10. Their respective rookies of the year on offense and defense. But you got George, you got Cuffs. Can we get this started now? Let's pay them now, because the price is just going to keep going up. We talked about Trey Smith. It's the same thing. You can't wait. The longer you wait, the price is just going to continue to rise.
Right.
So what are the thoughts there? Have we heard anything about those 2 guys, or any sort of contract negotiations for those guys? Has it come up? Have you guys seen anything?
No, I haven't seen anything at this point. I mean, it's always a lot of talk this time of year about, what they can get done. And again, there are some deadlines there are some deadlines coming up that they have to be met, or they can't negotiate, but I haven't heard anything.
Well, with those 2 guys, not so much. I mean, they can, that's they've already, they did the 50-year option, so they've agreed to that. So now it's just, hey, can we get something, an extension beyond that, and not pay them as much? Because again, we've seen it. I mean, the cornerback market continues to rise. The pass rusher market is, you got what's who's oh Christ, the kid from Cleveland, $40 million a year.
Yeah, that's ridiculous, and no one's going to touch Garrett's numbers.
And you've got TJ Watt waiting on an extension. You've got obviously Hendrickson from the Bengals to see what's happening there. You've got Micah Parsons coming up. Now I'm not putting George in their class, but he is a pass rusher, and just the fact that market is going up, his number is going to go up. Maybe not quite that high, but I would have to believe that if he's getting 10 sacks a year, that's got to be, I don't know, 25 million a year.
Yeah, they're going to have to make a decision. I mean, Brett Veach has been pretty honest about making sure that he keeps all three. He wants to keep all three, and again, they'll have the cap space to do it. And one thing about
Garrett,
Garrett. The one thing you have to remember about the way that Brett Veach does his contracts is, he puts their money. He doesn't spread their money out. So if it's a 4-year, $100 million deal, it's $25 million per, and that's how he does it. Now there's some tweaks they can do for roster bonuses and switch stuff around, but for the most part, he puts the cash value into the cap, and I think that's pretty wise to do, especially if you got somebody who you think is going to be there long term. That's kind of on the flip side with Jawan Taylor. That's what they did with him too, and they can't really get out of the contract unless he's injured until the end of 2025. But next year, I don't anticipate he'll be on.
Why do you keep calling Buddy Clamps, man? I know it's cuffs.
The bonus because Kareem's just being Kareem.
It's all right.
But the bonus part of it and so forth allows them to kind of massage the cap number.
Yep.
Right. So the money is going to be the money. I mean, that's going to go, and whatever the guaranteed portion is, of course. Sure. And as these deals get bigger, it seems like the guaranteed portion is getting closer and closer to the top dollar anyway. But the point is that then you can kind of massage the cap number, and that's, but the cash is always going to be the cash. And that's where Clark has to kind of step up and be ready to dole out some big checks.
Right.
So with that said, guys, we will see you guys Friday with Factor Cat with Lou, and also we're gonna have some more topics and stuff that's coming out of training camp. Not training camp, but mandatory mini camp as well. And also we didn't get, we'll touch on some, the AFC, the Baltimore Ravens are, adding more talent to their secondary room. Okay. It could be
they signed Zaire Alexander, man. That secondary's not that secondary nasty, man.
He hasn't been healthy in 5 years.
That's secondary nasty, bro.
It was kind of funny because you saw Lamar at the podium, and they had asked him because they were at Louisville together, and they're pretty tight, and he's just like, "Go get him, Eric. Go get," and he kind of laughed, but then I don't know, a few hours later, it seemed like the deal was done. So I think maybe he knew what was going on, but it was kind of, it looks like Lamar basically brought him to the Ravens.
Damn.
Let's see. All right, guys.
Peace out.